We're in the Phoenix Hall area of North Main Street right now, and one of the things I notice as we're standing here, Ed, is that there's a Coca-Cola delivery truck parked in the center median. Can you explain how this seems to be working out in terms of making this kind of a multi-use Main Street, works for all kinds of the purposes that we need to see here?
Well, as I said before, talking about these unintended either consequences or results of the project, this is one of those areas. So we built in this 6-foot traversable median for this kind of utilitarian effect. We looked at it as the ability to bypass traffic if a emergency vehicle needs to come down and traffic is stopped, or if there's a delivery that's in the travel lane and folks need to get by. That seems to work out. What we've seen is as soon as we opened up the road, Coca-Cola, the FedEx, not to name drop anybody, but there's been this utilitarian loading use. We've been talking to the delivery guys and saying, look, it seems to work. We're going to continue to monitor it, but we don't want them to crowd the crosswalks. So every time I see a truck out there and it's a different driver, I'll approach them and say, look, what we'd like you to do is just give a safe setback to the crosswalk so that people aren't blinded by you trying to cross and it's a surprise to a driver going by. So other than that real issue, we've been, again, monitoring it. It seems to work. They're there for maybe 8, 9, 10 minutes, and they're often, there's no harm, no foul type of effect here.
Yeah, and as you can see, the traffic going by that, pretty good sized delivery vehicle doesn't really seem to be impeded at all. It's moving very smoothly in both directions. Ed, can you talk to us about the features of this kind of really significant patio? It's a really significant design feature here on North Main Street. Can you talk about how that works?
Well, this was one of those aspirational goals that originally came out of the Project Advisory Committee, looking at making it downtown as accessible as possible. And when I say accessible as possible, meaning all the business door entrances are either ramped or they have some sort of access directly to the sidewalk without steps. In this case, this is the Phoenix Hall building, and the 3 doors that you see behind me right now, or I should say the 4 doors that are behind me, all had multiple steps that looked at it. So part of the project looked at, we're going to widen our sidewalk, so we had additional space to accommodate a feature such as this raised platform. The other piece, a significant decision factor, was Phoenix Avenue right here. This used to be a continuous street right through, very, very heavy conflict. It wasn't pedestrian friendly at all. So we petitioned to discontinue this piece of street and incorporate it into the sidewalk panel. And the result here is a subtle ramp up to these door entrances. You'd never know that there were steps there before. Fully ADA accessible now, and it's kind of this 2-level sidewalk right here. A great solution to incorporate into this project.
Yeah, and you may have noticed some of the smaller ramps too that help people get into buildings. For example, down at the Mill River building next to Merrimack County Savings Bank, there's a smaller handicapped accessible ramp feature. Also at Bread and Chocolate. And I spoke with actually someone I know who was in Bread and Chocolate, and he mentioned that his wife is handicapped, and she really appreciated the fact that now she can get into Bread and Chocolate, and folks can get into the works and enjoy the patio here, just like everyone else. So that's a huge accomplishment, I think, for the Concord Main Street project.
It was great to incorporate accessibility into a highway transportation project like that. It's probably a very unique approach, but working with our federal partners and trying to make downtown as accessible to everybody. We want everybody to use downtown. This was a unique feature, but well worth the effort that we went through.
Okay, and then one last thing, Ed. We have a variety of, parking configurations here on the Main Street project, and in particular I've noticed in the new South Main Street area down by O's, Red River Theater, Vibes, Bread and Chocolate, all the way down to the Smile Building, it seems like parking has increased. Is that true?
That is true. That block alone, say from Pleasant Street to Hills Avenue, if you recall, there was very limited parallel parking along that block, mainly because we also had that the large loading area. We've maintained that loading area, but by again the transformation of the lane use, 4 lanes versus 2 lanes, and the added width, we were able to incorporate angle parking. So we more than doubled the parking along that block alone, and the overall net increase of parking in the south end was pretty dramatic. It's over 10 spaces that we added just alone on the south end of the project.
Yeah, so that's great. So those are some of the new features of our Main Street. Much more handicapped accessibility. Went from 5 handicapped accessible parking spaces to a total of 13. Really, improved the ergonomics, I think, of the downtown area here. And so for Ed Roberge, I'm Brett St. Clair and the Main Street Minute. Thanks for your patience, Concord. It's all going to be worth it.